I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to look at your life and think, how am I going to make these changes? How am I going to move toward what it is that I really want to accomplish when I have no idea how to do that? I have no idea what path I should be taking. I don't know what resources I should be using. It all seems so overwhelming. Where do I start? And you hear all these different things about people that are, manifesting their dreams and creating their ideal realities and pursuing who it is they ultimately want to be, and it's happening for them. And as you look at your own life, you're thinking, I don't know how did they do that? Like, you can watch all the manifestation videos and law of attraction and listen to the word of God and read the Bible, but it's still hard to comprehend how it's all going to take place when your current reality does not even match or come close to what it is you're trying to accomplish in the reality you want to create or your dreams that you want to manifest. And I know it's overwhelming. I've been there and I'm still kind of there right now because there's a lot of things in my life that I truly do want to change. And I feel like I'm on a great path now where I can see things evolving in my life and opportunities that are being created because I'm really just trying to focus and shift my thoughts. Instead of thinking about all the things I don't want, I'm only thinking about what I do want, what I want to create, who I want to be, the dreams that I want to manifest and evolve into the person that can match those dreams. And it can seem like a lot of work, right? But if it feels and seems like a lot of work, you're probably doing it wrong or you probably have the wrong dream. And you're probably taking too much control of the entire situation and not allowing God to create that path for you. And that is a huge portion of what it means to manifest your reality is to have it so it's kind of seamless. You know exactly what you want to do, right? Like a lot of times if you really sit back and think, what would be my ideal life? Like if somebody gave you, like Aladdin gave you a genie and said you have three wishes, think of the first one. What would the first one be? A lot of times, that first one is ultimately what it truly is you want in life and who you want to become and the purpose that you feel like you are here on this planet to accomplish and the things to do. Um, so, when you have that opportunity to really look at your life and figure out what it is, really hone in on what you feel like your purpose is, when you look at the totality of it, and it's such a passion of something that you want to do and something you want to accomplish, it shouldn't be that hard because you should naturally just want to move toward it. You will find that you will just naturally start doing the actions needed in order to start creating it. But a lot of times, what happens is we get so focused on the end point of controlling the entire situation and how we think it should go, like the entire blueprint of the path to get to that end point and what it all looks like, that we are adding so much friction to the process when it should just be seamless. It should just be easy. You should just feel the emotion of that passion and it will just naturally move you toward doing the actions to get to that point. And I'm the prime example of knowing that friction and trying to control the situation and looking at what I feel like the end point should be and knowing that it felt so hard because I was trying to control every aspect of it. And what I want you to know is that as humans, we're constantly looking for evidence that we can do these things. We constantly are looking at self-made videos and, looking at like Tony Robbins and somebody else who might be super accomplished of someone that you like truly want to listen to and become, but it's so hard to put these things into action. Well, I'm telling you right now that God has been manifesting things in your life all this time. You just never really realized it until you started really focusing on trying to attract maybe something or some things into your life. You are watching this video because you have opened your eyes to the reality that I can change who I am and I can change my personal reality because I can change my personality. I can change who I am. I don't have to be the same way of the person I've been frustrated with all this time. And let me kind of give you a little bit of guidance here. You have the evidence that you've been manifesting because honestly, you've been manifesting the life that you have to this point all this time. And I have two instances where I was able to look back on my life and provide myself the evidence that I can create my own reality. I can manifest my desires and my dreams. And with God's help and my faith and allowing Him to take control and not me control the outcome, I've been able to make things happen. And I never realized it because I was never truly focused on this entire idea that I can change things. So, two different things. First one that came to mind that helped me provide myself the evidence that I truly can create was when I was doing the before and after care at the YMCA. I had just got out of the military and I was going to college and I was going to the University of South Florida. And I was doing the before and after care at the YMCA at a local elementary school. And I absolutely love working with kids. One, I get to live vicariously through kids. That's pretty fun. But two, I knew I could make an impact in a kid's life by being that person. I always wish that somebody would have been for me when I was a kid, providing me the guidance, giving me the affirmations that I can accomplish anything and I can do anything I want to do. And I didn't even realize that I was really putting good positive spin on those children's realities by just being that kind of person. That's not even what I was thinking about. I was just having fun and really enjoying my time that I got to spend, hanging out with those kids and just seeing the smiles on their faces, because I had a great childhood. I really did. And it was so nice to be able to kind of provide that to other children. But the point of the story is that when I was at the before and after care, I always really did want to become a wellness director at the YMCA. Fitness was a big part of my life. My dad got me into fitness at a really young age, and I always wanted to share that with other people. And, I wasn't sure what it would be like to manage others. I didn't know if managing others in that environment would take the passion away. And obviously, I started talking myself into different reasons why I shouldn't do it. And what if I'm not good enough? What if I don't know how to actually motivate and empower others? I was talking myself out of it, but it got to a point where I got really excited about the idea of possibly moving in that direction. And an opening came up at the local YMCA near me for a wellness director position. Now, here's what I want you to understand. I was just a youth coordinator, a youth leader. I wasn't a coordinator. I wasn't a manager. I was literally just like a camp counselor almost, if you want to look at it like that, with a group of 20 kids every single day for the before they go to school and after school, throwing the football around, helping them with their homework, playing games, doing different things that kids should be doing because they're children. They should be having a lot of fun, but focusing on their education at the same time. So I was happy I was able to do all that. And so that was a big jump to go from just a youth person, a youth leader, to managing I think it was around 60 people, because not only was I going to manage the personal trainers, I was managing massage therapy, all the group fitness, the Live Strong program, all the different programs that they had that the wellness person was going to have to overlook. And it was a big responsibility, but I felt like I could take on that challenge. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was going back and forth talking to myself, and my brain was just focusing on so many different things of why I shouldn't do it. But anyway, so the position came up, and I was contemplating it the whole time, and I talked myself out of it. I never applied. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I had what it took. And the job itself closed. And I remember I was so mad at myself for allowing that opportunity to slip away. But the whole time that job was there, every single day, I had been envisioning myself in that position and what it would be like to take on that role of a wellness director and managing the personal trainers. And I would go into that YMCA and I'd walk around the gym and I'd kind of just put myself in the shoes of what it would all be like and look like. And I think that actually helped me become more confident that I could do it. But little did I know I was actually creating my own real life dream board by doing that. I would walk down the hallway and introduce myself to some of the trainers and talk to people. And, I didn't know anything about manifestation and dream boards or anything like that at that time. And I didn't even know anything about allowing God to take control of the entire situation. But I remember there was one time where I was like, God, I really want this. Like it got to a point where I didn't know what to do, and I turned to God and I was like, God, I really want this. Like it's not. I didn't even use the word want. I remember I just said, God, this would be so cool if I could just be this person. I need to take a step in my life. I think this is the perfect opportunity. I love the culture of the YMCA. Like I could see this. I could really see myself doing really well. So I I told myself, like whatever. Like why don't I just go down there? I know the position closed. Why don't I just go down there and I'll turn my application in and just see what happens? I didn't expect anything to happen, but you know what? At least I felt good that I took that step, trying to make up for the fact that I talked myself out of applying for it to begin with. So I ended up, and sure enough, I put my application, not my application even, I just handed my resume. I pulled up there, parked the car, walked in the front door, told the front desk person, hey, can I speak to the person who's in charge of, hiring? And this woman, Amber, comes down the hallway, and I told her, I'm like, look, I know the job closed, but I want you to have my application. And if anything happens and anything falls through, you guys change your mind on who you selected, please think of me. I'm really interested. And that was it. It was as quick as that. She was really polite about it, and she went back down the hallway, and I left. Didn't think anything of it. I got a call, I think it was about 2 weeks later, telling me I got the job. I got the job as the wellness director, a job that had closed, a job that I had talked myself out of, and a job I never thought I was going to ever get. And Amber called me up. It was the evening time, and I didn't know what was happening. And she's like, we have selected you to be the wellness director at this YMCA. Congratulations. And I was stunned. I didn't even know what was happening. I was like, what? Like, I know that there were enough applications that I was late putting I don't even remember putting my application in. I think it was just I gave her my resume, and I was just stunned. And I was like, man, that was evidence I needed. That anything is possible. Anything is possible. But what I realize is now that I understand allowing myself to not take control because I didn't think I was going to get it. I wasn't hyper focused on the end point. I wasn't even hyper focused on the job anymore. It's like I told God what I wanted, right? Ask and you shall receive. Didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. As I was walking through and I was going through the wellness center and introducing myself to people, I was literally creating my own real life vision board. And I was attracting what I wanted just by naturally just being in that environment. Not one time did I think this was going to happen. Not one time did I think I was going to get this job, and I did. That was a huge, huge turning point for me, that anything is possible. And now that I've been studying more of, the law of attraction, manifestation, and just really how faith and allowing God to take control of the entire situation and not allowing myself to be in it and be so involved in it and just disconnecting from it and not providing that friction of constantly focusing on it and worrying about it. Am I going to get this job? What's going to happen? It wasn't like that at all because I didn't think it was going to happen anyway. And the art of detachment is a real thing too. I really feel like we provide a lot of friction to things that we desire, because when we desire something, we are so hyper focused on it, we're constantly staring at it. It's like when you plant a seed and if you just sit there and watch it grow, it's mind-numbing. No matter how many times you water it, the process is still going to be the same. You have no control of the situation, right? All you're doing is just really just wasting your time adding friction to something that is inevitably going to happen because you don't have control of it whatsoever. But you got to feed it, right? You got to water it, you got to feed it, and you got to let it do its thing. And that's exactly what I did. I fed my reality, the desires, by putting myself and seeing myself as that wellness director. And I allowed myself to not add friction because I just, maybe it was God's plan to allow me to not worry about it because I didn't think I was going to get it anyway. But I had the desire for it. So that was the first one that really made me realize that I can create my own reality. I can. And that was a huge turning point. The other one was my father, man, huge influence in my life, passed away from cancer. And my mom was still living in the house that I grew up in. and I had been helping her out, so I was at the house with her a lot. And I remember I was sitting on the couch one night, and I remember I look over and I'm like, because we didn't have a dog at that time. We've always grown up with a dog. And I remember looking over, and I remember thinking, man, it'd be really cool to just have a buddy here with me. You know what I mean? A dog. And I always saw a lab. I don't know what it was, like a sandy looking lab. And I just looked over the couch, and I just kind of pictured a dog just being right there, you know. And I remember thinking, like, God, that'd be really great one day if you could provide me, you know, a dog just like that, you know, someone that can be a big part of the family. Something I felt like I was missing. I'm a dog person. I'm a dog lover. Anyway, so my mom ended up moving out of the house, and actually I'm in the very house now. I took it over, and it's been a blessing to be able to take care of a house that my father had, like he had a couple wishes, but one of the wishes was, you know, take care of this house, don't sell the house. And that's what I've been doing. So it's been a blessing in my life to be able to do that and be in this home and take care of it. But now my wife and my stepdaughter live here too. And my mom had messaged me one day. She's like, hey, I don't know if you guys are looking or not, but I found this dog. This dog is gorgeous. You should really go look at it. Come to find out that this dog, perfect coat, sandy coat. It said lab on the ad or whatever it was. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I mean, why not? Like, I don't think we were ready to really take on a dog. We were pretty busy, a lot of responsibilities. My stepdaughter, you know, was a big part of our life. She's in volleyball. Like, I was coming up with every reason we shouldn't do this. Allowing my brain to stick with what's comfortable, and that is not doing anything, just staying status quo and staying put, even though it has been a desire in my heart to get a dog. So anyway, we go to look at the dog, and this dog was part of the St. Petersburg College veterinary program, and you could not adopt this dog out until that program was over, and the programs run 6 to 8 weeks. The day we went to go look at that dog was the last day. It was the day after that program had just ended. And this dog, when we got there and we went in the back and we started looking at her, she was perfect. She's gorgeous, and she took to us so well. And I'll never forget, like, she was about 45 pounds, but when she was running, you could feel the ground. Like, she was so excited, but you could feel the ground. And I'm like, man, like, I don't know what we're going to do with a dog this size. Like, we have a house and everything, but like, am I prepared for this? The food, like, I know how much I eat, but like, are we really prepared to take care of a dog like that? So like, who's going to walk the dog? I started sounding like my parents. Who's going to be the one to take responsibility for this dog? Who's going to pick up the poop? I started thinking about stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? No, not this time. Like, this dog's perfect. She's gorgeous. She's loving on us. You know, my mom, she sat down and she just jumped on my mom, knocked my mom over and was licking her face. And I'm like, okay, we got it. We got to do this. We got to do this. So I was like, yes, we will absolutely take her. Right. And so after I said yes, it was a weekend. And so the application process, we still had to do. So we weren't able to get her then, but we ended up picking her up that next week. And you know what's crazy is when we got home and she jumped on the couch and she sat next to me in the same spot that I remember looking down and saying, God, it would be great if you could just provide a dog for me. And you know, a dog that literally looked just like Sandy. Now, it said lab. She's not a lab, but my goodness, she's nearly identical to what I imagined on that couch. And it's crazy to me because in that moment, I remember again, like that's all that happened. I just told God, you know, that's the desire of my heart, and I let it go. I never thought about it again because it's not like I was looking for a dog. I wasn't, you know, it's not something I was even thinking about doing. You know, I was really just, I was still grieving over my father. I wanted to make sure I was there for my mom. Like, a dog was not a part of what I wanted at that time. But sure enough, in God's time, in God's perfect timing, he provided me that exact same dog I saw. And that's amazing to me. So the point of all this, and Sandy, come here. Want a treat? Come here. Want a treat? She always comes for a treat. Sandy, come here. Treat. Come on. Come here, baby. Come on. Up here. I want you guys to know, like, I'm not lying. Come here. If you can see her, come here. Up here. Yes. Can you see her? There she is. Yes. Good girl. See, I prepared for this video. Good girl. Anyway, if you have a desire of your heart, God already knows it. But you gotta ask God. You gotta ask for the things you want. If you don't ask, you won't get. And if you apply friction and you don't apply the faith that God has, like, once you have a desire of your heart and you have the faith that God is going to take care of it, and you try not to control it, and you just take your hands off the steering wheel and let him do it in his time, not yours, things will begin to happen in your life that will be absolutely incredible. And you will be just as blown away as I am, because they'll come out of nowhere. They'll come out of absolute nowhere. And you will just be like, what just happened? And that is when miracles happen. When you just allow things to unfold. Allow God to do his work. Now, God will put breadcrumbs down. You better follow those breadcrumbs on the path that he's trying to guide you to. Because if you don't, you're going to do what I did. You're going to look down at those breadcrumbs, right? Which is, hey, my mom, out of nowhere, here's a perfect dog. I could have talked myself out of it, thinking that, hey, all the responsibilities we have and who's going to take care of the dog and da-da-da-da. And they're like, nah, we're not going to do that. But the opportunity was right there to get the perfect dog. The job. I finally told myself, you know what? Why not? Why not just bring my resume up there and see what happens? If I didn't do those things, if I didn't act, none of this would have happened. Those two things. And those are just two real quick examples, because I don't want this to be a super long video, but I think this is really important because it was put on my heart to share this, that if I didn't act on those things and I didn't follow the breadcrumbs, none of it would have happened. So have faith. Tell God your desires. Now, the desire needs to be within a realm of something that is actually feasible, something that you truly, like, I love football. God, put me on the Chicago Bears to play linebacker. If I can't think that that is like a real reality, like something that God would want me to be doing, I can't expect that to happen. This is God's purpose. God has a plan, He knows the desires of your heart. And if it falls in line with your faith and his plan and his purpose for you, it will happen. It will absolutely happen. So don't apply the pressure. Have faith and let everything evolve. Talk to God. He knows what you want. But faith and just releasing the control, I promise you, you'll be happy with the outcome.